This is set number 8076, the Deep Sea Striker. This is an Atlantis set from the second wave in the first year of Atlantis from 2010. 260 pieces, one minifigure, ages 7 to 14, and retails for $20. This set I like to get a little bit because of the actual structure of the set, but mainly because of the Manta Ray treasure key. So that way I have all of them, but I don't have the Portal of Atlantis. This was one of the cheaper sets in the second wave, probably the cheapest one, because a bunch of the bigger ones were around 40 and up. Let's take a look at it right now. Here's a look at the instructions, and as you can see, the hinges are on the top, so you have this open kind of widely. I don't recall there being any numbered bags in this set, and it doesn't show so in the instructions, which is good. It's pretty structurally built, and not too hard for the instructions. A few parts are repeated a couple times. So here we have a look at the Atlantis map. This is kind of a paint version of it. It's not exactly Lego, although this section happens to be Lego. I'm not sure why that only. But we do get some of the earlier sets from the first wave and some from the second wave shown here. The Deep Sea Striker is shown on the top, but not the vehicle included in the set. We also have the piece count on both of these pages and the win on the back. So let's take a look at our minifigures in this set. We're going to start off with Lance Spears. This minifigure, from what I've seen, happens to be in a lot of sets on his own, and only seems to be encountering large creatures, so he's got to be careful around there. He does have the same printing in the second wave as he does in the first wave. It's one of my more favorite diver printings from any Lego series. He does have a double-sided face with that really nice comical, he has a squibbly line for his mouth, like it's really uncertain and very scared looking. I really like that look for this character. He also has lots of tubing on his torso. And his front seems to be pretty basic minifigure face, just with added, facial hair. Which is okay. I don't mind that. And he also has, like I said, the tubing, trident on his leg. So there he is. Where did I put his flippers? There they are. Now his vehicle is very simple and something that you probably have seen a million times with Atlantis sets. It just so happens that in the Atlantis series they have a lot of small sub-vehicles like this one. And I'm really not sure with this model if it's supposed to be built upright like this, or if it can position itself this way. On the box it shows that you can have it like this. You have to move the feet back a little bit so it's not in the way of the exhaust, I guess, from the back. Tell me the right word in the comments. We have a light on the bottom, which seems to be somewhat helpful, but not exactly. I mean, if you're diving, you probably want the light on the top. You're not going to look down on underneath you. Most likely not. And then we have the treasure key shown here with the Manta Ray on it. It's also included in 2 or 3, I think maybe 4 other sets. Yeah, 4 other sets. And we have harpoons on here, which can be not actually fired, but positioned as if they were to fire from this direction. And the reason why I say this might be a different position for standing it is because when they build in the instructions, they show it obviously, upright, so you have the pieces well organized. Oh, I guess it is supposed to be upright like that. Okay, then I was wrong. So that's your simple machine. It's a unique design, but something we've seen a couple times before. Or something similar to it. Then next we have the main model of the set, the Seabed Strider. It looks like a giant scorpion to me, and definitely has the play features of a scorpion. Now, this set has a few features in the main model. One of them being these posable arms. You can move around on ball joints. You have the arms themselves that can move, as well as the giant claws. The claws can open back and forth like so. And what I like about it is they have all these little tooth pieces underneath, so you can really surprise someone when you catch them, and probably slice them, though. So just be careful around this guy in the auction. Now we do get stickers on this. 2 stickers here, 2 of the same stickers here, and a bunch of the stickers across the back. Nothing underneath. And there's a look underneath it. It's pretty, you know, hefty. You won't have problems with the legs falling off, which I like a lot. Because sometimes spider legs and scorpion legs, things like this, are, you know, they move around a lot when you don't want them to. Or they, just getting some of the dust off. Sometimes they break off too easily. Well, this one, it doesn't move at all. It just sits like that. You can't position them in different directions. They're fixed into one place. So it kind of gives the set, you know, only so much use to it as far as positioning and stance. You have the head mainly on the bottom, and you can move these teeth pieces inward and outward. So you have the main mouth there, and you have 6 eyes, 3 on each side. Kind of a neat piece. And we've already mentioned that the claws can move and chomp. They also show in the set's image, you can put the treasure key in their claws. So it can fit in there if you want to have that as a feature. And we're just going to keep it with this guy for now. The main thing with the set is the back tail. Now, this has a function in which you could send it forward, or you could just have it positioned different ways. Because all of these points can move independently. But the problem I find with this a lot is it always has a tendency to move forward. And reasonably so, because a lot of the set's tilted towards the ground. I mean, just looking by its stance, you can see it's mostly tilted forward. So it's no wonder that the tail would also move forward too. You could also position it so it's almost towards the front, like so. But just know that when you're going to use this set, most likely it will lean forward unless you try to lean it far back. Sometimes what I do, I try to surprise whoever's in front by flipping it real fast, and it lets most of it move on its own. If you hit it hard enough against the base, it will actually move some of these tail pieces forward. For example, I'm going to put it up straight, and then we're just going to hit it real hard. So now you can see once I lift it up, it actually moves some of them forward. Well, it mainly moved one. Sometimes it gets moving a bunch of them. But that's your main feature in it. And a lot of the tail I notice is, you know, some of it's built forward like this, very pointy. I like that feel for it, because it really gives that underwater, you know, sea creature feel. But you have this part that's actually built, you know, one part has studs on the bottom, one part has studs on the top when it's constructed. So I find that kind of interesting, but it does work a little bit better to use the set. So that way you have it ready. The only problem, and another problem with this, even when you do use the tail, it only reaches so far in front of his face. If you look at it here, it's only going to move so far in front of him. Probably good for hiding him, so you don't see his eyes and he could come out and lash at you. But you're really not going to reach too far in front. I think you want to do that as a sea enemy. Although you could use the claws, but again, they don't go too much farther either. This is as far as I can reach the claw in front of his face and in front of his tail. So, $20, I guess it's okay. Is the set worth it? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not it's not that I don't like this creature, but I do find it has a few flaws. And, you know, we've had a couple of these creatures before in the past. This one's a little bit more of an improvement on them, in fact. I actually like that the legs don't move, but I'm not a big fan of how the main part of the body is leaned forward, because it really influences the tail to move forward, and it doesn't really give, it really doesn't reach too far ahead of itself. It's a good appearance, but the features can, I don't know, the features are okay. I would give this credit for having numerous features and moving parts. And it's not even like one part of the claw moves, you can move both parts of the claw. So that's a little bit better than some of the other sets. The sub that we get in this set, it's hard to call it a sub, but this little vehicle, you might not want it as much, just because, you know, how are you supposed to face this giant creature with this vehicle? You won't. So you're lucky if you can get past him without getting harmed. Boom! Already hit him. So, the vehicle is okay, and I know the set's more oriented towards the enemy, you know, the Deep Sea Strider, or Striker. So I understand that's why the vehicle looks small. But you probably want to use a bigger set to combat this guy. So thanks for watching this video, hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time with more LEGO set reviews.